Hey, welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. We're in the van right now. Look at that. I'm in the van. Um, I'm not predicting this, but it's like entirely possible that once we get down the coast that we'll spend more time in the van. Um, Trying to figure out a way to not sell this particular van while we're going. Um, there's kind of stuff I'd like to do to it if we're going to keep using it. Now, for the indefinite future, and by that I mean we'll have some other setup if it happens. It's 2 humans and 1 dog, so we're not 3 humans on the crew and 1 dog right now. So the other human is off visiting the other side of the family for at least 6 months, potentially, longer, right? So whatever, and I could have another one of the extended family members come visit like pretty quick. But I'm not really planning on that, and we're not going to do our stuff based on that happening. Now we're almost ready to take the smaller boat and leave. We have too much stuff in it. That's kind of a thing, and it brings up a topic that I really want to talk about. What I really want to talk about is freedom versus survival and enlightenment. And I'm going to get to that video soon, so if you listen to my enlightenment stuff at all, be ready for that one, because it's coming. But I want to talk a little bit about how people talk about van life, boat life, cruising, setting up their systems, doing their stuff, shanty boats, whatever. Like, there's this guy, he's got a shanty boat, and it's, for him, the way he describes it, the way he talks about it, the way he comes up with these little things, is that he's trying to live a very modern, full-featured lifestyle on $300 a month of cost for the boating stuff, plus whatever he does on food and everything. And it's very tweaky and very weird. And I feel like you go through a phase. You have to go through a design and understanding phase of mechanics of how this stuff works. How much power does it take to run a little efficient fridge? How many solar panels do you need? How do the seasons affect your solar panels? How does the location affect your solar panels? Winter on a mountain in the Wallabies in Arizona, no problem. 400 watts will run my entire life. Starlink, fridge, everything. Winter here, there's less sun. It's a different thing, right? So there's this mechanical aspect where you have to understand all of that. But there's this other part where I think people get broken. And it's where you're trying to take the lifestyle and make it all economic and make it all consumerist at the same time. Like, people always talk about how they're using less consumption, less space, less everything. But what they do is they pack every creature comfort known to man into some weird little miniature version. It's almost like you have little Betty Crocker kids sets of stuff floating around in people's vans and people's boats. No one seems to want to just go with, hey, solar showers are cool, or no pressure water, or actually simplifying. It seems like that's what's kind of breaking the consumerist thing. I know that there's all these things you can't even really identify and break out, but I know that, for example, when I was a kid in the late 70s, a person moving across country in a Volkswagen Beetle was not like crazy or weird. Like, all of your stuff would fit in a Volkswagen Beetle. A young couple would just, you sell the furniture, you sell the stuff, but your clothes, your books, your personal effects, your stuff for 2 people fits in a compact car. And at this point in time, you look at it and people this van, this regular full-size van, take all the seats out, 5 trips for a person to move from one place to another. And it's not furniture. Like some of that might be furniture, but it's not like mostly furniture or anything. It's just stuff. It's just your personal shit. And it's a little bit weird, And that creeps into every aspect of people trying to do van life or boat life or yurt life or tent life. There's so much more stuff. And I'm thinking about it, and we've got too much stuff in the boat. And that's part of what brought it up. But part of it was this guy with his shanty boat. And he's got this weird economic idea that he's doing better, that he's successful because he's got these things on a specific budget, not because he's enjoying his life, because he's very down about a lot of this stuff. Like he's very negative about the restrictions and the limits on some of this stuff in the budget. It's not that he's out there experiencing life and enjoying life and then making it work with what he's got, or able to get or acquiring what he wants to make his life good. Like he's not in a positive space. He's kind of in a negative space, and it's not a negative space of autolysis. He's not removing things so that he can rebirth himself or be free. It's a negativity of wants and needs and regrets and fear. It all comes down to fear. I told you I wasn't going to do the enlightenment side, but this is actually really, really key to what's going on. And he has land, and he has an RV, and he has a truck, and he has a car. He has all the stuff that he has to maintain, but he's scared of letting go of it because that's his backup plan and his backup to his backup plan. And if they won't let him camp on his land, then he can take the RV and go to truck stops. And there's this long chain of fear factors. And I look at it, and we're kind of in the same boat, except that I don't want to not get rid of the van out of fear. It's because I want to be agile. I want to have the van in case I get a wild hair up my butt and decide that we have to go to a Midwest ashram in Iowa or whatever. Good luck with that. They wouldn't let me in. Can you see me? Yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah, I'm going to the retreat center. I'm going to tell all of you how stupid it is and how that's not actually freedom. Anyway, fear and want and need, and it all gets calculated in this strange economic fashion where it's all about this dollar and this cost and this budget and this energy container and this other energy container, and you've got your butane bottle and your propane bottle and your wood stove, and it's pretty crazy. And some of it's real, some of it is realistic. Like you have to carry enough. If you're using one of the butane stoves that takes the little hairspray bottles, you need to carry enough of those to know that you're going to get through whatever supply issues there are. So for example, right now is hunting season. So if you go to a rural Walmart, those little cans, they're $3, are gone. They're going to be gone for the next month. You're never going to see one unless you get really lucky and you get there at exactly the right time. They just disappear off the shelves. If you go to a big city Walmart, then you might find 5 or 6. They last for a while. They're not super efficient, cost effective, whatever the economics are, but they're there. They last for a while. But you want to carry, if you're boating and you're doing anchoring out and stuff, you probably want to carry 6 or 7, maybe 10. This is coastal cruising. You're going to be able to start looking for some when you get down to 4. You're going to eventually get to a Walmart, even if you're going through the North Carolina and South Carolina Intracoastal Waterway section. Stuff is going to work out. But, and I specify Walmart because they're literally twice the price at an Ace Hardware or a West Marine. And that actually starts to become like a really big deal. Now you're talking about $200 a month for a single burner stove. Like it gets really weird. But I don't sit there and calculate, hey, I have to pick the stove because it's going to cost this many pennies more or less, and then get all whiny about it. It's just, all right, back to the topic. They're doing it wrong, okay? It needs to be about the experience. It needs to be about the fun, the adventure, the purpose, the goal, the whatever it is. If the goal is actually to write an article on the most efficient way to cook food while living on a shanty boat in the Mississippi or Missouri rivers or wherever that guy is now, great. Do your research, write your book. But if the goal is to live that, and this is what people always say it is, if the goal is to live a free life with adventures and stuff, then that's kind of a different thing. You need to focus on it. You need to talk about that. You need to work on that. And you need to break down the barriers to that. You need to really make that work. And you should probably be pretty happy and pretty excited about it, So these are things. I have the sense that people are going about it wrong and that they're really looking at this from need. The van life thing especially. You've got that RTR meetup and everything, and there's a lot of people who are very down, this is their last chance to live. This is the only thing they have left before being homeless. And I'm like, guys, lighten up, lighten the load, get a backpack, go hike the Appalachian Trail, okay? Like, for real. There's a lot of ways to do life. And this need and depression, and it's so weird, It creeps into a lot of the content, though, and I really find that strange, and it just jars. Like, it doesn't, of course it doesn't make me mad or anything. It just jars. It's like a chord with one string way out of tune. It just jars. You're like, something isn't right here. Something isn't in alignment. Something isn't complete. Something isn't doing the stuff it's supposed to do. That's it. So that's it. Right? What else? We're going to leave soon. At this point, I have a set of appointments, a pair of appointments in a couple of days that if we take the boat and we go now, I don't have an absolute positive timeline of where I can have the boat anchored, moored, or in a slip, and the van matched up with us, a ride to the van and the van, to make these appointments. These are kind of important appointments, so I have to actually do them. I shouldn't actually just blow them off. So we're probably going to wait the extra 4 days, go through the appointments and do that whole process, and then leave. The good news, the extremely good news about that, is that gives me a chance to repack, pare down, get about 20% of the excess stuff off of that boat, and add a few things that are projects that I like, just some anchor gear improvements and some railing improvements. Just do some of the little things that actually are going to help. So that's what we're doing. We're just going to do that, And yes, there is absolutely a part of me that just wants to be on the beach, fighting the waves, and doing all of my stuff, and doing my writing, and doing my ranting, and doing my whatever meditation. It's not really meditation at this point. It's something else. But, blissing out on the clouds, doing my unconventional happiness. And, we could just do that. We could just take the van and just ditch. everything and be on a beach in Daytona in 2 days. Whoosh. So I'm trying to resist that because that's not what I'm set up to do right now. And also because as much fun as that is and as hilariously me as that is, it's probably not like going to go super well when we get there, because living in a van in Florida is, especially in the winter, is really kind of difficult. Like, they really don't like you parking anywhere for a couple hours, even in the daytime. It's not the West, it's really hard. I could probably Carlsbad or San Diego or something. Well, Carlsbad, Leucadia, Oceanside, maybe not San Diego proper. I could probably get away with it. I could probably figure it out, There's enough places inland off the beach to spend the night that I could probably do it. Florida, yeah, a little more difficult. Having that boat anchored out is pretty important there. So, not sleeping in the van. And then again, people do it, so there's got to be a way. So we'll see how that goes. That was completely off topic, but it does lead into the video that I need to make about freedom versus survival. And I think all the materialists with their evolutionary principles have got it completely wrong. I think it's freedom and not survival that's the main drive of life, and I'll talk about that later. Right now, stay sideways.